The government's back open, but how much should we really be relying on the government financially? All right, welcome back to What Are We Talking About? I am Ben Lewis. Today, I want to talk about a concept that seems to be fading in our national conversation. A conversation on self-reliance. It's easy to talk about safety nets, but what about the foundations of a successful life? What about the dignity of earning your own way? When the government closed, there was a lot of talk about the EBT and the food stamps. And while I do 100% agree that there is a certain segment that relies on that for daily sustenance, but I also believe that in our country, where there are 45 million people on food stamps, that a good portion of those are just riding it out because it's free, right? And so that got me thinking, like, how self-reliant do we need to be? How reliant on the government do we need to be? Another topic is insurance subsidies, and I'll touch on that in a second. But I see a danger where a portion of the country is heading, and it's captured in this central belief. I believe that Americans need to work for what they need and not live off the government. It's the trap of dependency. Let's take a look at the harsh realities of relying too heavily on government aid. It's not about compassion, it's about control, and it creates what we call the poverty trap. There's the disincentive. Think about this. When you start earning more, taking a promotion, or saving money, you immediately risk losing essential benefits like healthcare or housing assistance, which is training you to make less money to be more reliant. The punishing math: for every extra dollar you earn, you might see 80 or 90 cents of your benefits disappear. That functions like a massive prohibitive tax on your effort. I remember during COVID, whenever they were giving out COVID checks, if you weren't working, I can't remember like the exact reasoning behind it, but I remember a lot of people in construction would have a hard time getting laborers to help if they couldn't provide a certain dollar per hour or commit to a certain period of time that they were going to pay. So like, if you reached out to a guy and you're like, hey, I need you to work 3 days, he's like, well, I make more money if I don't work this week, so I'm not going to work. What are we doing in that situation? I mean, how are you convincing them to work for you if, in this case, they're not self-reliant? If, in this case, they are relying on the government to pay them, and the government's paying them more in that situation? The message is sent by the system. It's don't try to climb out. Stay right where you are. It traps people in a cycle of dependency. It forces them to remain small just to keep their access to aid. How about the cost of our future? And let's be absolutely clear. This system is not free. It comes at the direct expense of our future. It's like whenever you go eat at a Mexican restaurant, you get free chips and salsa, right? Those chips aren't free. That's cooked into the price of the fajitas. That's the same situation that's going on in our country right now. The debt burden, every single dollar spent on endless government assistance programs that aren't fully funded is a dollar we are borrowing from our kids and our grandkids. We are piling unsustainable debt onto generations who haven't even had a chance to earn a dollar yet. And it's stifling growth. When government spending balloons, it increases borrowing, which can ultimately slow our economy down. It crowds out the very entrepreneurship and ingenuity that creates real sustainable prosperity. I think back to my parents, my grandparents. Think about yours. Were they relying on government subsidies for insurance? Were they relying on the government for food stamps and EBT card? I feel like it's normalized. Now, let me say again, like I said at the top, there's a certain segment that absolutely needs it, and I want them to have it. But there's also a segment that doesn't need it. Like whenever you have people reporting in the news that they're really seeing the hit on EBT because Their eyelash technician had to fire 2 eyelash technicians because people can't afford to get eyelashes anymore. Well, you know what that means? That means the money that they were spending on eyelashes, they're now having to spend on food because they don't have the government paying for their food. Well, that's where that money should be going. The money you earn should support your family. Everything else is a bonus. Everything else is extra, right? If you want extra things, you have to earn extra money, which means you need to work extra. That's just how it works. I don't remember our parents getting handouts. I don't remember my grandparents getting handouts. I remember them working for every last single penny they had.
I want to take a minute to tell you a little bit about Cowboy Revolution apparel. Now, obviously, you've seen my cowboy hat on the cover of this podcast. And let's be real, when you hear cowboy, your mind jumps to the hat, the silhouette, the statement, but you're not always out roping cattle, right? You're navigating the concrete jungle, or maybe just a chill Sunday morning headed to church. That's the gap Cowboy Revolution apparel fills. They're taking that iconic Western spirit and putting it into the clothes you actually live in. Starting with the gear that keeps your head warm and looks sharp, hats and hoodies. Their hoodies aren't just soft, they're substance. They're heavyweight fleece designed with a rugged durability that's rare these days. Think reinforced stitching, metal tipped drawstrings that fits you and lets you move. They're built to be your best friend when the temperature drops, whether you're fixing a fence or just hitting the coffee shop. These are the hoodies that get better, not bagged out with every wash. And the hats, we're talking about more than just your standard cap. They've got structured trucker hats with classic Western patches that pay respect to the ranching life. They've got wool caps for that vintage frontier look, and for those who want the full silhouette without the fuss, they offer premium, crushable felt hats that are easy to pack, but demand respect when you wear them. Every stitch, every buckle, every curve is deliberate. You don't have to wear a full Western rig to carry the grit of the West. Just throw on a Cowboy Revolution hoodie or a CR hat and you're good to go. It's about quiet confidence and uncompromising quality from a veteran-owned company.
How about the loss of autonomy? Consider the loss of something invaluable, your personal autonomy. When you rely on the government, you're signing up for bureaucracy. You have to fill out the forms, wait in the lines, and justify every financial decision. You lose the right to choose for yourself. You have to go in and prove how poor you are. People are having to do this. I promise I'm poor. Look how poor I am. The government decides what you need, and often in the form of in-kind benefits, limiting your freedom. But the American spirit is about being the master of your own life. It's about the dignity of the provider, the reward of hard work, and the right to spend your earnings as you see fit. In my opinion, true security doesn't come from a fragile, distant check from Washington. It comes from the strength of our own hands, our own savings, and our own independence. We have to demand the chance to work, keep what we earn, and build a life free from limits of the state. Who are you going to for provision? Are you going to the government? When's the last time you prayed for provision? Have you thought about that lately? Have you set a goal to achieve? And then have you been praying on that goal? Have you circled that goal and prayed for that goal? You know, if you remember in Matthew chapter 17, verse 20, in verse 19, the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, "Why could we not cast it out?" Speaking about a demon that was in somebody. And Jesus said to them, "Because of your little faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." If the God of the universe can create the universe and can move a mountain, then he can help you earn money. He can help get you to your goals. Everybody talks about that verse, Matthew 17:20, but what about just below that? Do you remember what happens there? Well, let me remind you. When they came to Capernaum, the collectors of the 2 drachma tax went up to Peter and said, "Does your teacher not pay the tax?" He says, "Yes." And when he came into the house, Jesus spoke to him first, saying, "What do you think, Simon? From whom do kings of the earth take toll or tax? from their sons or from others? And when he said from others, Jesus said to him, then the sons are free. However, because he's like, this is my father's house, so I shouldn't have to pay to get in here. But, however, not to give offense to them, so he didn't want to offend anybody. They didn't have the tax, right? Simon's like, where are we going to get the tax? Who'd he ask? He asked Jesus. And what did Jesus say? Go to the sea, cast a hook, take the first fish that comes up, and when you open its mouth, you will find a shekel. Take that and give it to them for me and for yourself. So Simon went to Jesus. Jesus provided. Okay? This is something that you can remember in your everyday life. Be self-reliant. Work like it depends on you, but pray like it depends on God. Whenever the government opened back up, everybody seemed happy for like 5 minutes. And then I see people on social media hitting it up, talking about their insurance premiums on the rise because the subsidies are gone. Well, the subsidies were there to make insurance affordable during COVID. Well, COVID's 5 years ago, right? What did we have to do before this happened if we couldn't get insurance that was affordable? We had to get a job that had good insurance. There are people, you may be one of them listening right now, that are working because you need the insurance. That's what you have to do. I saw people on social media complaining about their premiums going up. I saw somebody post something like, my premium went up from $120 to $1,120. I can't believe this. Right? That was like the big post. But then the comment in the post was from her insurance agent that said, girl, you know I'm working on this. We're going to take care of you. So what was even the point? The point was to complain. When the government shut down, it was the right's fault. And now people can't eat because of Republicans, right? But then when the government opens back up, our insurance premiums are going up because of the Republicans. So instead of taking responsibility and providing for ourselves, we do what? We blame others. How does that make sense? So I ask again, where are you looking for provision? Are you looking to the government? Are you looking for handouts? Or are you somebody that is going to go out, roll up your sleeves, and do the work? Do the work to earn that income. Do the work to provide for your family. Do the work to provide for yourself. You're not going to manifest it. Manifesting isn't real. People that say they manifested something, it's not real, folks. You manifested something, you didn't manifest anything, okay? Your crystals aren't real. Your crystals didn't help you with anything. Your good vibes didn't help you with anything. Crystals, good vibes, manifesting. This is the language that I hear out of people that are reliant on the government, that are reliant on others to pay their bills. Makes no sense. It's not even real. All provision comes from above. All provision comes from the Lord. Work like it depends on you. Pray like it depends on God. Where are you looking? Where are you looking for provision, and what are you finding there? I guess in the end, my deal is this. We're a strong country. We're strong people. We can do this. We can do this with hard work. We can do this with getting up in the morning, providing, coming home at night. Whether you're a man, woman, it doesn't matter. We can do this on our own. We can do this with help from the Lord. We can do this. You're capable. I promise you're capable. Please remember, if this doesn't apply to you, then I'm not talking to you. Right? Am I talking about the elderly here? No. They work for what they have. They work for everything they have. Am I talking about for people that are caring for special needs children? No, I'm not talking to them. They work harder than most. I have a granddaughter that's special needs. Her mom's working 24/7 to take care of her. There's no off days. There's no off time. These are the people that need help, right? We're going to help them, but they need other help too. So they need that help.
It's to everybody else that I'm talking to.
You were designed to thrive. You were designed to excel. You were designed to achieve. So go do that.
Be proud. Be proud in what you achieve. Be proud in the goals that you set and the goals that you hit. And know that at the end of the day, everything that you have, you worked for and you earned. Nobody handed anything out to you. There's no freebies. You earned this. This is something you did. So good job. Be proud.